Bismillahi walhamdulillahi assalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah amma ba'd rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, my dear brothers. Inshallah, today we will continue our study of Surah Al Isra and try our best to cover from ayah number 47 till 70. Today we are crossing a milestone for our Quran4teens boys class. This is our lesson number 100. So we have made a century of lessons, Alhamdulillah. And in the next couple of lessons, inshallah, we will be reaching our halfway point of the Holy Quran. So we started our journey with Surah Fatiha, and now we will be, inshallah, in a couple of more classes reaching halfway. Let's say in around 102, 103 lectures and then lessons, and then inshallah, we will continue the journey together. Just like every other class, before we proceed, we will go through the actions from previous class. There were a lot of actions from the previous class, about 8. I'll just list them down quickly and we can go over them. So we discussed that don't be a miser, meaning don't keep all the money to yourself. Keep and don't give everything away as well. So you have to be cautious. You have to strike the right balance because you have responsibility of your family and you have responsibility of other people around you. So you have to be really cautious on how you're spending. But yes, you should also don't keep everything for yourself. Allah SWT has mandated us to give out zakat. Plus, encourage us to give out sadaqat and khairat so that, we continue to get the blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't kill your children for fear of poverty. And the specific examples we discussed about was like, abortion, or when people basically don't want to have children or they kill their children just because they feel that who's going to feed them, who's going to clothe them, how will I pay for their schooling and all of these things. So because of these fears, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clearly said that I am the provider of rizq for you and for your children. So don't kill your children. This was a specific instruction that came directly from an ayah. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also gave an instruction of don't go near zina, which is adultery, which is the not the right relationship between a man and a woman. So the right way of forming this relationship and for fulfilling your desires of attraction is that we need to have nikah or marriage with the opposite gender, and that's how you can fulfill that desire. However, when you do it outside of marriage, that is something that is immoral and a very evil way, and we discussed it at length. How can we stay away from zina and how can we not even go near zina, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is instructing us. Don't kill anyone except by right. This is that, no one should be killed and we are not allowed to kill anyone. However, if a murder is committed, then it needs to go into court. And then the court will obviously run the everything. We cannot take law on our side. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that whatever harm has been done should be recompensated in the right way. So if someone has been murdered, then the family or the heirs of the murdered person have the right to determine if they will also want him to be executed or if they want to take some money as a compensation from him or whatever they decide. The judge will only pass the final ruling. However, the decision will be of the family. Don't come near wealth of orphans except with best intentions. They are the weakest segment of our society. So we should make sure that we are not, because once the parents die, the kids are young and weak, and obviously there are relatives, there are friends who are around them who have to support them. But they should not reach out because obviously there will be some wealth, something that will be left by the parents, for example, and the kids may be young or too young to handle all of that. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that you should reach and take care of them in the best possible way and not with any evil intention. And once they mature and they grow up, then you can hand over their wealth that their parents left for them. Give full measure. When you measure and weigh with the straight balance, this means across all. So obviously it's about trading and groceries when you're buying, selling all these goods, but it has a higher repercussion on any job or any service contract that we are doing. We have to fulfill all our contracts. So it has more meaning of that we need to fulfill our contracts the right way. So whatever we commit, we deliver. That is a trade of Muslims, that we have to deliver all our promises. Verifying knowledge before spreading is these days on social media. You get something, you forward, you get something, you forward. No, that's not right. Avoiding gossiping and all of these things that can share false information amongst people. So we need to be really careful that we are verifying what we are forwarding, or the information should be right. And finally, don't be insolent, meaning don't be rude or arrogant. And all goodness and khair is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you are answerable for everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us: skills, wealth, power, position. Sometimes people think, oh, I'm so wealthy, I'm so powerful, I am at a great position, or I am in a government position and I can do whatever I want. That's not correct, because such things, when Allah SWT gives us, shaitan can whisper and make us arrogant. Oh my God, you're such an amazing person, you're so powerful, you can do this, that. However, Allah SWT gives those everything as a means of testing us, and this entire life is about the test that Allah SWT has given us. So those people who have, they have the test of what they will do with all this wealth, power, skills, and everything else. Those people who don't have, or who have less, it's a test of their patience. So everybody is going through the test. Moving forward to today's class. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحن أعلم بما يستمعون به إذ يستمعون إليك وإذ هم نجوى إذ يقول الظالمون إن تتبعون إلا رجلا مسحورا. We know best of what they listen when they listen. So basically, this is about the non-believers who have bad intentions in their heart. When the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam revealing the ayahs from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then they're not listening with the right intention. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, we already know what is going through their hearts. We know best of what they listen when they listen to you. And when they are in private conversation, and when the wrongdoers, they say that do not follow, because this man is bewitched and he's a magician or he's evil. So these are the things that they used to say behind the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the private conversation. So they used to go and sit in the gathering, listen to the Quran when the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was revealing to his companions. Obviously, he doesn't know the ill intention inside the hearts. So he was doing it in good faith and trying to reveal what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given as instructions and as guidance, and so that all of them can follow. However, they used to have those ill intentions, and in private conversation, they used to say all sorts of things to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is obviously all-knowing, and He is also letting the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam know. So, unzur kaifa warabu lakal amthala fazallu fala yastati'una sabila. See how they put forth for you the example. See how they're calling you. But they have gone astray, so they cannot now find a way, because they have evil intention in their heart. Even when they are listening to the Quran, they are not able to get the right message and the positive message that can improve their lives. Instead, they're going and talking behind your back ill things and saying things like, he's under magic or whatever, he has been bewitched or whatever. There's a spell that has been casted over him, and all of those things, because they have their bad intentions and they don't want to follow. So they are doing all of these things. وَقَالُوا أَإِذَا كُنَّا عِظَامًا وَرُفَاتًا أَإِنَّا لَمَبْعُثُونَ خَلْقًا جَدِيدًا. And they say, is it when we are bones and crumbled particles, will we surely be selected as a new creation? So now the argument is what? So they're saying the Holy Prophet is bewitched. We don't know what he's saying. Because look at what he's saying. Does he mean that once we are dead and we are crumbled, our bones will crumble underground, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will resurrect us? How is it possible? So they're trying to make fun of one of the instructions. So they're saying, how can we be resurrected once we have already crushed, become bones and sand once in our graves? Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reprimanding them. And really, this is a strong way of speech from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, very strict. قُلْ كُونُوا هِجَارَةً أَوْ حَدِيدًا. Say, be stones or iron. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making it, because even when your soil can be shaped, right? If you put some water, it is a bit soft. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, even if you turn into stones or iron, hadid, which is so strong, even then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will resurrect you. So whatever form you make. أَوْ حَلَقًا مِمَّا يَكْبُرُ فِي صُدُورِكُمْ. Or a creation of what is great in your breast. So think about whatever your imagination can let you, and whatever you become, eventually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be able to recreate you in this form, because He is the creator. He has created you for the first time. فَسَيَقُولُونَ مَنْ يُعِيدُنَا. Then they will say, who will restore us? So how come? Once we are in the grave, then how will we go be resurrected on the day of Qiyamah and on the day of judgment? قُلِ الَّذِي فَتَرَكُمْ أَوَّلْ مَرَّةٍ. And tell them, He who created you the first time, the same Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will recreate you. فَسَيُنْعِزُونَ إِلَيْكَ رُؤُوسَهُمْ وَيَقُولُونَ مَتَاهُ. then they will shake at you their heads and they say, when will it happen? So, when you're not believing something and when you're trying to make fun of something, so they are putting in all these arguments, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is already telling the Holy Prophet, be prepared. This is the sort of arguments that you will receive. That when you tell them, they will say, oh, how come and how can we be resurrected? And when you will tell them, no, the creator who created you for the first time, he will do it, then they will say, okay, fine, if you're saying, but then when will it happen? And we don't foresee this happening. Qul asa an yakuna qariba, say perhaps that it will happen very soon, before you even realize it will happen. Yawma yad'ukum fatastajibuna bihamdihi wa tadhunnuna labistum illa qalila. On the day he will call you and you will respond with his praise, and you will think not that you had remained except a little while. On that day, once Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala resurrects us and shapes our bodies and forms us back, everything will be responding with the praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanallah al-azim. Everything will be praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you will also get up from the grave, and out of fear you will be praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when you will think about this life, you will only think that you only remained here for a little while, because this will become a memory. Imagine, how do we think about the past? So let's say you guys are, I don't know, some of you are 10, 11, 12, 14, 16, whatever years of age, whatever you have, lived in this world. When you think about the past, if I ask you, how did it went by? It went by like this, very quickly, or was it so long? Oh my God, it took me like 10 years or 12 years. No, it's an illusion. It looks like, it went so fast. But when you think about the future, this is a whisper or delusion from shaitan. You think, I have such a long life in front of me. I will do that in 50 years, 60 years. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, when we will be resurrected on the day of judgment, we will think about this life, regardless of how long you live, 80 years, 100 years, even 110 years, 120 years, whatever you can think of, all of this will seem like you only spent a few moments in this life on the day of judgment. وَقُلْ لِعِبَادِي يَقُولُ الَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. And say to my slaves to say that which is best. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that always when you are in conversation with people, we should always say the best things. And we will discuss them a little bit in detail in the next slides. Inna shaytana yanzaghu bainahum. Indeed, the shaitan sows discord between them. Shaitan wants them to fight. Shaitan puts ill feelings about other people in our hearts. It makes us skeptical. What is the meaning of skeptical? That when you are thinking, even when somebody is good to you, you're thinking like, why is he so good to me? So these thoughts and these things, negative feelings about others, don't enable you to trust others, because maybe shaitan is putting these evil intentions in your heart. So you're not able to even say the best words to other people. Inna shaytana kana lil insani aduwwam mubina. Indeed, the shaitan is to the man a very, very clear enemy, which is why we should always recite A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim and seek protection from shaitan from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, just the first part of this ayah, and say to my slaves to say which is best. I just want to discuss this a little bit. So I need your attention. So say what is best. This is ahsan, right? So ahsan things we have to say, which is good things, positive things we have to say. So what do you guys think? What is the meaning, and how can we implement this instruction in our life? What is the meaning of saying good things or best things to others? Can you think of anything where you can apply this instruction from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What do you think? Anything that comes to your mind, any situation where you can be nice and best to others? You guys don't think you should be nice to others? Yes, Ahmed, go ahead. Ahmed, you wanted to say something?
Sir, I accidentally muted myself.
No problem. Okay, so basically, in every situation, we have to try to speak the best things. However, today what happens? How do we speak today? In our circle of friends, or even at school or at work, people wants to outsmart others. These are the terms that people use. we are always mean. And those people who are either, let's say, they are good looking, or they're always making fun of kids who are maybe a little bit chubby or a little bit fat, they are making fun of them. Or if somebody is dark, you're making fun of them. If somebody is not good in studies, then they are making fun of them. And there are jokes and outwitting each other. And these days there is a term very famous of roasting each other, and saying something so smart that everybody is laughing, and you're seen as a smart comedian or a cool guy or cool girl in the school and amongst friends. However, this can demean others. This can hurt others. However, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying is all opposite of all these things. And I understand it is very, very difficult to survive and think, oh my God, then how would I survive? And my friends will think that, I'm such a dumb person, or I'm not that cool person if I'm not participating in those chats, and if I'm not making fun of others. If I don't make fun of others, maybe they'll make fun of me. All these thoughts will come, and shaitan will whisper in your ears. And which is why this is how shaitan sows different things in our heart, in their hearts. And in the school especially, there can be certain groups in colleges, universities, 4 friends, 5 friends, 6 friends. They have a name for the group. And in order to belong to that group, you need to do something, and you need to be cool enough, or whatever these things. All of these things are in our head. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying is, say what is best to others. You cannot be jealous of others. You cannot have negative feelings about others. Because if you think about it, in order to do all of these things, like outsmarting others, saying mean jokes, outwitting, roasting, all of this, you have to really force yourself to think evil and think bad about the other person, or highlight a point or highlight a negative thing in such a way that it becomes funny and everybody is laughing with you, right? However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, say what is best. Ahsan. Say words that are good for others. So basically, whenever you are doing and saying the negative things or wrong things or things that you're not supposed to do or mean things, then this is reflective of your thoughts. What is your thought process? How are you even thinking about others is being reflective of the way you speak, because what we speak is basically what we are thinking, hopefully, right? So all of us have, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the brain, and it has a lot of processing power and a lot of thinking power. So which is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that say what is best, because somebody who's speaking best also means that he is a positive thinker. If you will say good things about others, if you say good things about your friends, if you say good things to others and not harm others, that also means that you are a positive thinker. You're thinking positively. If you're jealous of others, it can be amongst your students or it can be colleagues at office, and you can be jealous of each other. And then, there's a term called office politics. And, where people are backbiting and talking ill of others and all of these things. Instead of discussing positive, productive ideas, people are wasting time. Similarly, in school, a lot of kids are making fun of each other. And, these days you have these, maybe you're using different softwares for remote learning, and you have your own chat with your friend open, or maybe you have access to WhatsApp or whatever ways of communication, and you're talking about other kids. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, say what is best, meaning ahsan, which is good, that should help others. You should not be jealous of others. You should not backbite. You should not be mean. So this is a very, very critical action for us, which is we have to think positively for people. We have to think selflessly. Don't become selfish. Don't become full of yourself. Don't think I am something and, I can say whatever to others. And of course, because, I am so full of myself, whatever I will say, other kids will laugh and make fun of that other person, even if their heart gets broken, I don't care, and everything else. Think positively for people, think selflessly, think what is best for others, what is best for them. When you will start thinking whatever is best for others, this is how you will also say what is best, ahsan, to everyone. A shaitan will not be able to whisper these evil things, and you will make a lot of friends. Try to break out of your group. If you are part of 3-4 people group, try to be friends with other people in class. By the way, that can be a very good insurance policy as well, because in case, your best friend or someone in your colleague in your office whom you used to chat with, they leave for some reason, obviously because such places, people don't stick there for life. So if they leave, then you'll have at least other friends to talk. So just try to be best with everyone. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying. Say what is best, ahsan, to everyone. So I hope this point is clear. Moving forward. Rabbukum a'lamu bikum. Your Lord is most knowing of you. He knows everything about us, whatever we are thinking, doing, whatever. He knows everything that is inside our hearts. In yasha yarhamkum, aw in yasha yu'azzibukum. If he wills, he will have mercy on you, or if he wills, he will punish you. So on the day of judgment, we have to try our best throughout our life to do the right thing, to follow halal and do halal things and abstain and stop ourselves from haram things, always do the good things. However, eventually we will only go to Jannah by the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have to continue trying our best. Wama arsalnaka alayhim wakila, and not we have sent over you as a guardian. So we have sent you over them as and we have not sent you over them as a guardian, meaning that the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's not responsible for the actions of others. He's not responsible. Similarly, if you take this connotation, your teachers are not responsible for your actions. Your employers or your boss is not responsible for your actions. Your parents are not responsible for your actions. Their job is to give the right message that you should do this. Now, if you do it or not is your own test. If your parents are saying don't watch shameful things or change the channel or turn off whatever or study hard and everything else, they're only saying that for your own good out of their own experience or how they should be sharing the guidance. But eventually what individual person does is for himself. Same case for the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because he used to get so much worried for people who were opposing him. He knew that he's getting the direct revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He knew that they will burn in hellfire if they don't listen and follow the guidance. So he used to really get worried for his people. That's the highest level of worry that anyone can have, because the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to love his ummah and he wanted everyone to go to Jannah, to paradise. So he used to be really worried. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reassuring him that you are not guardian over them. You won't be accountable for their actions. Your job is to only pass on the message. So this was the reassurance for the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَرَبُّكَ أَعْلَمُ بِمَنْ فِي السَّمَوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. And your God is and your Lord is most knowing of whoever is in the heavens and the earth. He knows everything about his creation because he is the one who has created it. وَلَقَدْ فَضَّلْنَا بَعْضَ النَّبِيِّينَ عَلَى بَعْضٍ. And verily we have preferred some of the prophets to others. So some of the status of some of the prophets was higher than others, and we all know the highest was the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself. وَآتَيْنَا دَاوُدَ زَبُورًا. And we gave Dawood Zabur as well. So Dawood alayhi salam was given the book of Zabur, and we know there are 4 revealed books. So Zabur to Dawood alayhi salam, Tawrat to Musa alayhi salam, Injil to Isa alayhi salam, and Quran to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So there were different roles and that each of the prophets played according to the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in their own times. قُلِ ادْعُوا الَّذِينَ زَعَمْتُم مِّن دُونِهِ فَلَا يَمْلِكُونَ كَشْفَ الضُّرِّ عَنْكُمْ وَلَا تَحْبِيلًا. Say, call those whom you claim besides him, besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then they will not have any power to remove the misfortunes from you and not to transfer it. So they cannot do anything. So any partner that you call instead of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for protection, anyone that you think, they do not have power over anything to change your situation except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ يَبْتَغُونَ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِمُ الْوَسِيلَةَ أَيُّهُمْ أَقْرَبُ وَيَرْجُونَ رَحْمَتَهُ وَيَخَافُونَ عَذَابًا. Those whom they call seek to their Lord the means of access, which of them is nearest, and they hope for his mercy and fear his punishment as well, and fear his punishment. So even the people that you will call for help eventually go to their Lord as well. So why don't you go directly to your Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Why do you have to make partners within him and think that, oh, this person is it's such a high religious scholar, this person, he will intervene for me, or whatever gods that you create within gods. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, even the people that you ask for or you partner, eventually go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inna azaba rabbika kana mahzura. Indeed, the punishment of your Lord is feared forever, and it continues to be feared. Now, I just want to emphasize on this point, calling for help besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Is this thing applicable to us as well, or was it just told for people who are doing shirk, with their false gods of stones, and they used to do the worship and everything. So they were obviously doing a clear shirk. But in our times, is this applicable for us as well? Like calling someone else for help. How is it applicable to us? Any thoughts from anyone? Calling for help besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do we do that? Anyone? Anything that comes to your mind? Okay. In order to check this statement, calling for help besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is a very simple tool or way to check it. And the best way to check it is to ask yourself this question. And I want all of you, please I need your full attention. This is a very important point. I want all of you to ask this question. When you need help, do you think of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first or someone else around you? And it can be for the smallest of things, and it can be for the biggest of things. So for example, let's say you're not feeling well and you have some fever, or you have something, or you have cold, cough, whatever. Do you think about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or you do think about the doctor who will apparently cure you or give you medicine, whatever? That's a question that you can ask. Similarly, you can ask on anything, on any big thing. For example, when you need any help for anything is running out, or you are worried about a situation, or you cannot solve it. So will you call your friend, or will you tell your parents, or will you think about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So the thought that I want to leave with you is that this statement, calling for help besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is not just valid for the disbelievers who used to worship, or let's say the multiple religions that are here that are worshipping other gods other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even today. It's not just for those people alone. It is also valid for us, because we need to also think, are we relying on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on our day-to-day situations, or are we thinking about others? Because we cannot, yes, of course, eventually you will go to the doctor if you're not well. But the first thought should come, okay, first thing is I should make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provides me shifa. And there are multiple small duas and prayers for shifa. So you should first pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then, of course, you can go to the doctor, you can take the medicine and everything else. However, you should not think that the doctor himself or that medicine itself will cure you. The cure will come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the way we are designed, or the way we live our lives, is we always think that of the asbab, or the things that are around us, the network or the sources that are around us. We always think about these. We discussed this in our initial lectures, one of the initial lectures, when we were discussing the concept of shirk, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the source of every good thing, and He is the source of everything. And then there are different agents who are the people or the network or the, anyone from whom we take help. So we have been hardwired. We believe, okay, fine, something wrong had happened. Okay, now this thing needs to happen with this person, or we need to get this done by him, or this and that and everything. Our brain automatically, the first thought is not to go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we have to, as an action for us, very important action for us, we have to hardwire our brain. We have to rewire our brain to seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help first, via sincerely praying and believing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take you out of that situation. And that can be any small situation or big situation. And we'll discuss about this later as well in the upcoming ayahs as well. So we'll discuss this in more detail. But this is what we need to do. Yes, eventually we can engage with people, we can engage with our network, we can engage with whosoever. However, it is very, very important that the first thought that should come is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then you pray to Him and you believe that yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will save us or save you in that situation. And then you continue and engage with the network or whosoever you need, people or whatever you need, you can engage. Moving forward. وَإِن مِّن قَرْيَةٍ إِلَّا نَحْنُ مُهْلِكُوهَا قَبْلَ يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ أَوْ مُؤَذِّبُهَا عَذَابًا شَدِيدًا. And not is any town, but we will destroy it before the day of the resurrection, or punish it with a severe punishment. So they are the towns of especially the disbelievers. So in Tafsir, it is mentioned that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will destroy all the towns of the disbelievers before the day of judgment, and they will be facing severe punishment. This is a warning coming to all the non-believers or the disbelievers that all of their towns and places will be destroyed before the day of judgment. Kana dhalika fi kitabi mastura. That is in the book written. So the book and the taqdeer and the fate that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has written is already written down, and there is no changing that. That will happen. Now we need to decide if we are amongst the practicing Muslims or if we are amongst the the disbelievers, those who do not believe and do not practice Islam. وَمَا مَنَعَنَا أَن نُرْسِلَ بِالْآيَاتِ إِلَّا أَن كَذَّبَ بِهَا الْأَوَّلُونَ. And not stopped us that we send the signs, except that the formal people denied. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent multiple prophets and multiple messengers during different periods, and most of the people, they have denied all the signs and they have designed the books. And we have already heard multiple stories of how the prophets were there were people who went against them and completely rejected the message, and all the ayahs or signs, even the most clearest of signs and miracles of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they were rejected. وَآتَيْنَا ثَمُودًا النَّاقَةَ مُبْصِرَةً فَظَلَمُوا بِهَا. And we gave Thamud the she camel. The Thamud was the nation of Hazrat Saleh alayhi salam, to whom a she camel as a visible sign was sent. However, but they wronged her. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, at that point in time, we went through this story in a lot detail. So the people asked Saleh alayhi salam, okay, we will believe if you bring out a she camel of this color and this, health and everything else that can come out of the mountain, and then we will, start believing. They asked for something completely impossible. And then with the miracle of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it happened. And there was a she camel which came. Those people were asked not to harm it. However, the she camel was also feeding water from the same well that the nation used to do. And they got annoyed with that. And eventually they ended up killing that she camel. And then the punishment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala came on them. So despite seeing the clear sign from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and a miracle, they did not believe. While people of Makkah were also asking at that point in time to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam for a clear sign and a miracle and all of these things, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, already a lot of the people, a lot of the nations have been shown such signs and such things, and however they did not believe as well. وَمَا نُرْسِلُ بِالْآيَاتِ إِلَّا تَخْوِيفًا. And we send not the signs except as a warning. And eventually when the sign comes, it is a warning for a punishment. So if the people will not believe, eventually they will get the punishment. And multiple signs are being sent from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we know it, they were sent to multiple nations. But when a sign comes or an angel descended, eventually they ended up with a severe punishment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَإِذْ قُلْنَا لَكَ إِنَّ رَبَّكَ أَحَاطَ بِالنَّاسِ. And when we said to you, indeed your Lord has encompassed the mankind. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows, and he's all encompassing everything that we do, so we cannot run away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we cannot break out of his reach. وَمَا جَعَلْنَا الرُّؤْيَا الَّتِي أَرَيْنَاكَ إِلَّا فِتْنَةً لِلنَّاسِ وَالشَّجَرَةَ الْمَلْعُونَةَ فِي الْقُرْآنِ. And we made not the vision which we showed you except as a trial for mankind and the accursed tree in the Quran. So there's a mention of this shajar or tree that Adam alayhi salam was also asked to stay away from. And during the Isra and Miraj of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that we learned about in the earlier part of the surah, he was shown everything. And this was obviously all of these things are shown to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he came back and he told all the people as a warning sign. فَمَا يَزِيدُهُمْ إِلَّا طُغْيَانًا كَبِيرًا. And we do not but it increases them not except in a great transgression. So as a means of this should have proof for them to be a warning and take heed and come on the right direction. However, what it became was as a means of great transgression, and they started making fun of these facts, and they started to say, so okay, this also happened, that happened. Instead of taking heed and correcting their lives, they went further down the wrong road, and they went further in transgression. وَإِذْ قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا لِآدَمَ وَسَجَدُوا إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ. And when we said to the angels, prostrate to Adam, so they prostrated except Iblis. قال أسجد لمن خلقت طينا. He said, shall I prostrate to whom you created from clay while I am made from fire? So he felt superior. This is the issue. When you get this thought that you are superior, it makes you arrogant. When you think about yourself, my skills, my job, my wealth, my strength, I am so smart and I'm the best and all of this, it takes away your humbleness, and it makes you more arrogant. This is exactly what happened in Shaitan. And Shaitan wants us to follow his direction of arrogance. While we have to follow the Sunnah of Adam alayhi salam, which is once we make mistake, we have to ask for forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said, do you see this whom you have honored above me? So he said to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, look at Adam whom you are honoring above me. You're asking me to prostrate him because you think that he is the superior being. لَإِنْ أَخَّرْتَنِي إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ لَأَحْتَنِكَنَّ ذُرِّيَّتُهُ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. So you are honoring Adam or the mankind above me. If you give me respite or if you give me time until the day of resurrection, I will surely destroy his offspring except a few. Most of them will get destroyed. Again, illa qalila is coming, and we have discussed this multiple times during our lessons that except a few, all the people are on the wrong path except a few. And we will continue to get it during the Quran. For us, it is very important to be amongst the few. Pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be amongst the few, because majority are not on the right path, which is why we cannot blindly follow majority. Again, we have discussed this multiple times. Shaitan is saying, I will surely destroy his offspring, meaning Adam alayhi salam's offspring, except a few, and those are a few who would be on the right path. قَالَ اذْهَبْ فَمَنْ تَبِعَكَ مِنْهُمْ فَإِنَّ جَهَنَّمَ جَزَاؤُكُمْ جَزَاءً مَوْفُورًا. He said, go. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him, go, and whoever follows you among them, then indeed hell is your recompense and an ample recompense for them as well. And it is a really hard recompense. So will be hell for you, because obviously you did not listen to the instruction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Similarly, all the followers of Shaitan who do not listen to the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they will also be in the hellfire, and it is the right recompense, and it is the recompense that is the most suited for such people and Shaitan himself. وَاسْتَفْزِزْ مَنِ اسْتَطَعْتَ مِنْهُمْ بِصَوْتِكَ وَأَجْلِبْ عَلَيْهِمْ بِخَيْلِكَ وَرَجِلِكَ وَشَارِكْهُمْ فِي الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَوْلَادِ وَعِدْهُمْ. And incite whoever you can among them with your voice, and assault them with your cavalry and infantry. Cavalry and infantry is similar to an army. So Shaitan has an army of his, further like Shaitans. And be a partner in the wealth and the children, and promise them whatever you want to promise. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is throwing a challenge to Shaitan, and he's saying, go, attack whichever way you want. Attack with your voice and assault them with your cavalry and infantry, like your full army, with your full force, with your full might, and be a partner in the wealth and the children, and promise them وَمَا يَعِدُهُمُ الشَّيْطَانُ إِلَّا غُرُورًا. And Shaitan, he cannot promise except delusion. So he can only give you, he can only deceive you. He can give you delusion. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, be a partner in their wealth and children, because that's the time when a person becomes arrogant. That's the time when we start replicating Shaitan. You guys, inshallah, will be starting your jobs. You are on jobs. You'll be starting your own businesses, whatever. You will start to earn wealth, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give barakah in it. May you all earn halal from halal sources, halal means as well. The point here is, once you will start to gain wealth, and once you start to earn, and once you have your family and your children and your everything, once you get that power, that's where you start to become arrogance as well. And that's where Shaitan starts to become your partner, and he tries to whisper a lot of things. When you have wealth and extra wealth, then he whispers a lot of things that you spend on such ways that you should not, on a lot of vices, on haram ways or whatever. So don't make Shaitan your partner, because whatever he will promise will be a delusion. That means it will be fake. It's not real, and he will only take us to the wrong path. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying shaitan will attack us in every possible way in each and every situation. Now let's discuss a couple of situations here. When you are going through bad times, he will make you think that it cannot improve. So let's say you're going through a tough situation, really tough situation. You lost your job, or you're going through a divorce, or you went through something else in life, you failed an exam. And so shaitan's job is to make you think now there is no hope. So he wants you to make you a hopeless person who doesn't connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who doesn't have hope in life, who loses hope in life. So he will make you think that it cannot improve. And in the good times, when you're going through a very good time, he tries to make you arrogant. He will make you arrogant like himself, so that you stop following instructions of anyone. And when you stop following instructions from anyone, you also stop following instructions from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a guidance. Because you don't think you're so rich, you have such an amazing life, you don't think that, I need anybody's guidance. I don't want to be restricted. Why should I not take riba? Why should I not? It's my money. I have so much money. I want to make more money from it. So, I can go in interest and whatever. I have a lot of money. I'll take mortgage for a home, and I don't care if it involves interest, whatever. I need a big house and a bigger house. I have a car. I will take a car loan. I will take a bigger and bigger and bigger car loan because I want an amazing car and everything. He will try to make you arrogant, and he will try to make you forget in all situations. So when you're going through a tough situation in life, or when you're going through a good situation in life, in both ways, in both times, he will attack. Similarly, when we are performing certain actions, when we are doing good deeds, then he'll whisper, you're not doing enough maybe. And he will say that might as well leave this. So okay, so there is a donation going on. There is a flood that has happened. So many millions are in need. And you think about, okay, let me help as well. You help with 1,000, you help with 100,000, you help with 100, whatever amount. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is no amount. However, when you give it, the shaitan whispers, why are you giving? This amount will not even help, 100 families or 10 families or one family. He will just whisper in your mind that, it's not really enough. So might as well leave it. What's the point of doing it? There are millions of people who are affected by flood, or there are other thousands of people who are helping them. And then even your small contribution, it won't make sense. So he'll try to whisper that in your heart, even when you're doing good deeds. Or when you're praying, he will say, you're not praying really good or something. And, it has so many mistakes, might as well leave it. What's the point in all of this? You cannot be a great Muslim. He will just try to demotivate you, even when you're doing good deeds, or give thoughts to you to distract you, or give thoughts to you to make you arrogant as well. So I just gave in a good charity. So, let me, I feel so good, and let me talk about it with different people. And, I will talk. Yes, you can talk to people if you have done a good deed just to inspire them, but the intention should be clear. It should not be to show off so that other people think that you are such a great person and you give so much and you give away such so much charity, so that they will think that I'm such a great person. It's not to help others, but mostly to be seen as an amazing person. So all of these things, even when we are doing good things, shaitan can come and whisper. Even when you are trying to pray namaz or salah or prayer, he will try to continue to whisper and, make you think left, right, and center, and all the problems in life get sorted during salah or prayer, right? No, we don't even focus on the words that we're saying. We just ramble, and then, we pray, and then we just get up. So be wary of shaitan. Even when you're doing good deeds, he will whisper, and either you are not doing enough, or, or he will try to whisper to distract you, all of these things. If you do bad deeds, he will again whisper, and he'll say, you're such a bad person. Now there is no hope. You are hopeless. Now there's no point of going to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you watch something shameful, let's say there is adhan happening on prayer time happening, you watch something shameful, even if you closed it and you finish it, now he'll tell you, what's the point of praying? With what face you will go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You just did such a bad thing. You watch bad things with now why should you go? So he just wants to break the connection of us from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, and he wants us to know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not forgive us. That's his way. That's his way of becoming arrogant. He did not listen to the instruction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then he walked down that path, and he asked time until the day of judgment to walk down that path, and also to make other mankind, human, whom he thought are inferior because they are made of clay and he's made of fire. So he continued on that path of arrogance. And this is exactly what he wants us to do. So when you do a bad thing, he whispers, now there is no way to return, no way back. Khalas, I mean, you're gone. So just continue on the bad path. Similarly, if we look at, so what should we do is we should follow the sunnah of Adam alayhi salam. He made a mistake. He was asked not to eat from a fruit of a tree in the heaven. He did that, but he immediately asked for forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he was forgiven. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that, when you make mistakes, ask for forgiveness. But obviously we cannot plan a mistake and say, let me do that, and then later on I'll go and ask for forgiveness. No, that is not right. Purely the mistakes that we make that we don't have control on, obviously then you can go and ask for forgiveness, or any other thing you can continue to go to ask for forgiveness until your time has come, that is death. That is probably the time where all our deeds will be stopped, and then we'll be evaluated on the day of judgment. So the action for us, very important from this, is we have to defy shaitan. We have to negate shaitan. We have to let go of his whispers, block his whispers, clarify our mind. And how can you do that? By staying close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and always going back to him for forgiveness and help to make things easy. And the best way to do it also is by establishing the 5 times prayer. So if you have left Fajr one time, or if you have left Zohar, then it doesn't mean that you should not pray the rest of the prayers as well, because this is what he will put in your mind. You're such a bad person. How will you even go in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? It's not like people that we are talking about. We are talking about our connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's completely different. He's far superior, far greater than any of the normal things that we think about in life, or any of the, so I've done bad with this person, now how will I face him? No. Our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is completely different. We worship him, we are his slaves, and we should go to him 5 times a day in order to ask for forgiveness and make things easy for us. So always remember, regardless of what sin you have done, regardless of what you have done in your life, you can always go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make wudu, and pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ask for forgiveness, and try not to repeat that mistake again. So I hope this point is clear. Inna ibadi laysa laka alayhim sultan wa kafa bi rabbika wakila. Indeed, my slaves, you do not have any authority over them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying to shaitan, he is also challenging back shaitan. My slaves, indeed my slaves, for you, you do not have any authority over them. Let's pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us amongst his slaves. The way it is mentioned is so beautiful. Ibadi, my slaves. There is also an element of love from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all of us. Let us pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continuously 5 times to make us his slaves, and a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, to protect us from the whispers of shaitan. Wakafa bi rabbika wakila. And sufficient is your Lord as a guardian. Which is why I'm saying, I can tell you this 100% guarantee, or 200% guarantee, or whatever, infinity guarantee, that if you stay connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then shaitan will not be able to do any harm to us or any one of you. So the most important thing is to establish that connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he's already given us the means, which is 5 times prayer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rabbukumul ladhi yusji lakumul fulka fil bahri litabtaghu min fazli. Your Lord is the one who drives for you the ship in the sea, so that you may seek of his bounty. So when the ship goes, especially the sailing ones, the one where we control the wind with the mast and everything else, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who's controlling. Because imagine such a huge sea, a big wave can come and everything can get drowned. Innahu kana bikum rahima. Indeed, he is to you ever merciful. Wa iza massakum muzzurru fil bahri dhalla man tad'una illa iyya. And when touches you the hardship in the sea, lost are who you call except him alone. So when a hardship comes, when you are in the middle of a storm, and that the sea in the middle of the sea, then you pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even the disbelievers used to do that. Mushriks of Makkah used to do that. When they used to be in the ship or something, when things used to go out of control, they used to call out Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is referring to the same situation. فَلَمَّا نَجَّاكُمْ إِلَى الْبَرِّ أَعْرَضْتُمْ. But when he delivers you to the land, you turn away back. As soon as you used to approach the land, and the storm is gone, the sea is calm, they just come back, they go back to their own ways. They don't even remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَكَانَ الْإِنسَانُ كَفُورًا, and man is definitely ungrateful. So you pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a tough situation, but when things calm down, you forget about it and you are ungrateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is the lesson for us? So the sad reality even of today for a lot of the Muslims is that we call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only when we are stuck and when in our minds when nothing else can be done. A lot of the time you will hear these phrases in your life, things like now only Allah can help you, or only God can help you, or God may help you now. So let's say you go to a hospital and somebody's really not ill and somebody's seriously ill and they have, let's say, a terminal disease like a cancer or whatever. They try their best, they give chemotherapy, they give this medicine, that medicine, they do hundreds of tests and millions worth of bill and everything. But eventually when they feel like now the patient is slipping away, they say, okay, now it's time for prayer and only God will help you. No, it's wrong. So it's not just the tough situation that, in every situation, only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, that when there was a storm in the ship, or when the tough situation was being faced, then they remember Allah. But as soon as the storm goes away, they go back to their own ways. So this mindset of thinking that only when things go out of hand, of doctor, of humans, of myself, or someone else, of whosoever, then only God will help you. No, this is wrong. So it is only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who helps us in all situations, big or small, not only when we think we are stuck. So in a tough situation, every time, when we are, and when we think that only now God will help us, other than that as well, who's helping? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is helping. And we will see it in the upcoming ayahs as well, even in land. And by the way, if something wrong, bad needs to happen, it will not just happen on the sea, it will also happen on the land, and it can come. A lot of punishments from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala happens on land as well. We see a lot of accidents happening and the life of people completely changed 360 degrees, right? So, sorry, 180 degrees. 360 would be like, you're coming back to the same. So 180 degrees, people's life change. So it is only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who helps us in all situations, big or small, not only when we think we are stuck. So normally what happens is we only connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when we think we need him. Other than that, we forget about it. It can be in anything. So for example, you are about to go into an exam in your school or university or wherever, and you know that it didn't go well. So now you will just come and pray, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, please help me, and just make me pass this one last time, and then I will study and I'll be an A-star student or whatever. I'll get the 4 GPA, and just this time just make me pass, because my dad, he will hit me with So this is wrong. We should always continue. First of all, obviously we should not try to get into that situation. We should prepare our lives well and study well and everything else. However, not just that, but in any situation in life, we need Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the time. So the key action is always be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the time. Really, I need 100% focus from you guys. Always be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the time. Because here, if you look at the last part of this ayah, what are we being told? وَكَانَ الْإِنسَانُ كَفُورًا, and man is ungrateful. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala defined the situation of a storm. As soon as you hit the land, you forget about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, while at that point in time, you continuously prayed, please save me, I'll be a better person, I'll do this and I'll not do that, and all of this. When there is turbulence inside the plane, and then people start to start praying when the plane is really turbulent, and they think that this is the last time that they will they have only a few seconds to live. They start to say, oh, save me, this time I have to and I'll be a better person, and these thoughts starts to come. So before going in such situations, the very important action for us is that we have to connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for everything in our lives. It can be a small problem, it can be a big problem, or it can be a small blessing or a big blessing. Whenever you're getting something great from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whenever you are happy, whenever you're getting A stars, whenever you're getting a good thing, whenever you're getting a great job, whenever your business is doing really well, whenever you find a great spouse who's a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whenever you're happy, whenever you eat a meal, whenever you look at the sky and it looks beautiful, you should say subhanallah. And so even from the smallest things to the biggest things, always remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not like when you are stuck in life, when there is nothing else to do, then only you will go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the wrong mindset, and that is not a mindset of a practicing Muslim. That is not the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we have to be always grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the time. Always reach out to Him for any small problem or big problem, and always thank Him for any smallest of blessing to the biggest of blessings that you receive. I hope this point is clear. Moving forward, we have a few ayahs left for today. Inshallah, we will complete in time. Afa amintum an yakhsifa bikum janib al-barri aw yursila alaykum hasiman thumma la tajidu lakum wakila. Do you then feel secure that not He will cause to swallow you on the side of the land or send against you a storm of stones? Then you will not find any guardian for yourself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding them. So, okay, so you only remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when you were in the middle of the storm in the sea, and when you go to the land, you just forget about Him as if He doesn't exist, na'udhu billah. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding them, something bad can happen on land as well. A storm can hit you, a thunderstorm of stones can hit you, and it has hit previous nations, but you're not taking heed. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding them that His punishment can come wherever we are, in whatever way. It can be an accident, anything can come. So, so from that angle, the previous action that we just discussed, that we have to always remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in every situation in life. Am amintum ay yu'idakum fihi taratun ukhra fayursila alaykum qasifam minar rihi fayughriqakum bima kafartum. Or do you feel secure that He will send you back into it another time and send upon you a hurricane of the wind and drown you because you disbelieved? Thumma la tajidu lakum alayna bihi tabi'a. Then you will not find for you against therein an avenger. So there will be no one that you can find as a protector. Once Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides to punish you, then no one else can help you. So it is always better, in order for us to also prepare for our deaths. By the way, we should always be prepared to die, because now the death has no age. So all of us should always be prepared. And the best way to be prepared to die is to stay connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when you go to Him, you already remember Him, you already are connected with Him, you have a relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? So from that angle, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us anything can happen during a hurricane or a wind, or you can be drowned, whatever. And you will not be able to find any protector if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides to punish you. Last ayah for today, inshallah. وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ وَحَمَلْنَاهُمْ فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ وَرَزَقْنَاهُمْ مِنَ الطَّيِّبَاتِ وَفَضَّلْنَاهُمْ عَلَى كَثِيرٍ مِّمَّنْ خَلَقْنَا تَفْضِيلًا. And certainly we have honored the children of Adam, all the humankind, mankind, and we carried them on the land and the sea, and we have provided them of the good things, and we preferred them over many of those whom we have created with preference. Human beings are preferred by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have fazila, we are superior beings. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also mentioned in the previous lessons we discussed that, all this, the entire world and the heavens and the earth, everything has been created for human beings, for us. So we should be thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has preferred us of all creations. And definitely, if you look around the world, have you seen any person being ridden by a horse? Or have you seen any donkey hitting someone because he's not carrying his luggage? Have you seen any of these situations? Have you seen any dog carrying a human being with a chain and, bringing them forward and taking them for a walk? Have you seen a dog just walking with a human being and, carrying them for a walk? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given something special for humans. And that is that all His creation, at least the ones that we see. Have you seen any fish fishing for human beings or hunting human beings? No, we haven't, right? Sometimes, yes, you can argue that wild animals, if you go into the jungle, they can hunt you down and they can kill you and everything. However, still we can fight over them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us brain to create those weapons, to create those guns, the man does the hunting, right? And goes into the wild and everything. The important thing to understand here is, even visibly, all the creation that is visible to us in this world and everything, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made us superior and we can overpower them. And the reason why we are superior is not just that we can overpower them, but we are superior because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us His ruh, from His own ruh, from His own spirit. There is no better word for ruh in English. but let's say, closest one is the spirit. Or so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us something from his own self that is making human beings superior over all other creation. And that will continue to last for us. Even if this body goes away, our ruh and that essence from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will continue to live in the next life, and we will be resurrected on the day of judgment. So from that angle, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has clearly given preference to children of Adam, or to all human beings. And by the way, here it says the children of Adam, all human beings. It doesn't say only Muslims or only believers. So this marks the end of today's lesson. We will quickly go through the 4 actions for today's class. Number 1 was we have to say what is best, ahsan, to everyone. So ahsan, the meaning of ahsan, Arabic word, is some goodness, something great or best. And the only way it can happen is when you start thinking positively for others. And when you start thinking selflessly, when you're not selfish, when you're not mean, when you're not rude, when you don't want to think about making jokes for others and showing them and making others laugh just on the weakness of someone is fat, dark, whatever, or not good in studies. So from that angle, we have to control ourselves, and we have to say best things to others that don't harm them, that only benefits them, that encourages them, that motivates them. That's how we should become in life, across all the people, within our family, within our friends, within our colleagues at work, within our university, wherever, within our schools. We have to make sure that we are thinking positively about others, and we are contributing to them and saying things that really help them to grow, and which is best for them. Similarly, calling for help besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, normally it comes that, the concept of shirk comes to our mind, and we think about, okay, these non-believers who are worshipping other gods, or the disbelievers of Makkah who are worshipping other gods. However, it is also applicable to us that we have to first call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for help. We have to make sure, because normally the way we are designed and the way we grow up in our schools, in our everything, that we have to always look for, how I can get help from this world. We only look at the agents that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has spread around us, but we don't go for the source, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself. So hardwire yourself, design your brain so that whenever you need any help, then you reach out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first by sincerely praying, and then believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will solve that situation and take you out of that situation. And eventually the outcome will be positive for you, and you will be a better version for yourself. This belief you need to have in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then reach out to him for any help that you need. Shaitan will attack us in every possible way, in each and every situation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we just discussed, mentioned that, and he gave a challenge to Shaitan: go and attack the people with whatever you have, with your cavalry, with your army, with your all your ammunition that you have. But the true people who are the slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are the ones who will stay protected. So the way we have to do, and he attacks us in all situations, it being good situation or a bad situation. If you're doing a good deed or a bad deed, in all situations, we discuss them in detail. Shaitan will attack us and whisper us to take us on the wrong path. So we have to defy all those whispers and block the whispers of Shaitan. And the best way to do it is to stay close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, always go back to him for forgiveness and help to make things easy for us in our lives. And that best way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already given us, which is establish the 5 times prayer. In that you can have a conversation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you can pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you can ask for help, you can discuss the smallest of matters of your life, you can discuss the biggest matters of your life, whatever. He's our creator, he's the one who can make things happen for us. Reach out to him first, and then again you can seek the network and people and everything. Finally, always be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the time. Unfortunately, a lot of the time people seek out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when they're really in a tough situation. And we saw this in the ayah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that when even the disbelievers and the mushriks of Makkah, when they used to be stuck in the sea in the middle of the storm, they used to call out Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The moment they used to hit the land, they used to forget. And then, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminded them as if nothing can happen, or as if the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cannot reach them in land, but just that they felt secure, they felt that they are in control. So same thing applies to us. We have to always connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for everything in our life. Whenever we face smallest of problems or the biggest of problems, we should seek help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or when he blesses us, even in good times as well, when everything is going well, when you have a great job and you're doing really good in college, university, school, and you're getting a star or whatever, and you're a really good student, you should pray to Allah SWT. If you're struggling with something, with any of your courses, with any of your things in life, maybe you're trying to play a sport and you're struggling in it, you want to be, you want to deliver really good, then pray to Allah SWT for the smallest of things, for the biggest of things, both in tough times or in good times. When we are receiving the blessings of Allah SWT, we should be always grateful. We should always say Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, because in that ayah Allah SWT said mankind or man is ungrateful. So we should not be amongst those ungrateful people. So I hope this is clear. Are there any comments, anything from any of you before we close today's class? Okay. Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Purity belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and all praise be to Him. Purity belongs to you, O Allah, and all praise be to you. I bear witness that there is none worthy of worship besides you. I beg forgiveness from you, and I repent before you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brothers. Inshallah, I will see you all next week, same time.